Romans 8:31. What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be?
And it came to pass after these things, the chief wine taster of the king of Egypt sinned, and the chief baker against their master, the king of Egypt. Pharaoh was provoked to anger over his two eunuchs, over the chief wine taster and over the chief baker. He put them under guard in the jail, into the place where Joseph had been taken away there. The chief jailer combined them to Joseph, and he stood beside them, and they were some days under guard. Both saw a dream in one night, and the vision of the dream of the wine taster and the chief baker, the ones who were in service to the king of Egypt, the ones being in the jail, was this. Joseph entered to them in the morning, and he saw them, and they were disturbed. He asked the eunuchs of Pharaoh, who were with him under guard, by his master, saying, Why is it that your faces are looking downcast today? They said to him, We saw a dream, and the interpreting it is not. Joseph said to them, Is not the explanation of them through God? Describe them then to me. The chief wine taster described his dream to Joseph, and he said, In my sleep there was a grapevine before me, and in the grapevine 3 lower branches, and it flourished, offering mature buds, the clusters of the grape. The cup of Pharaoh was in my hand, and I took the grape cluster and squeezed it into the cup, and gave the cup into the hand of Pharaoh. Joseph said to him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 lower branches are 3 days, and yet 3 days, and Pharaoh will remember your office, and restore you to your office of chief wine taster, and you will give the cup to Pharaoh into his hand according to your former office, as you were of the wine service. But remember me of yourself whenever good happens to you, and you shall do me an act of mercy. You shall remind Pharaoh concerning me, and lead me from this fortress, for by stealth I was stolen from the land of the Hebrews, and here I did not do anything, but they put me into this pit. The chief baker saw that rightly he interpreted, and he said to Joseph, I also saw a dream. I imagined 3 bins of groats lifted upon my head, and in the bin above items of all kinds of things of which Pharaoh eats, the work of a baker. The birds of the heavens ate them from the bin upon my head. And answering, Joseph said to him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 bins are 3 days, yet in 3 days, and Pharaoh will remove your head from you and hang you upon a timber, and the birds of the heavens will eat the flesh from you. And it came to pass in the 3rd day that it was the birthday of Pharaoh. He made a banquet for all his servants, and he remembered concerning the chief wine taster and the office of the chief baker in the midst of his servants. He restored the chief wine taster to his office, and he gave the cup unto the hand of Pharaoh. The chief baker he hung, as Joseph interpreted to them, and the chief wine taster remembered not.
And it came to pass after 2 years of days, Pharaoh saw a dream. He imagined, standing at the river, behold, as it from the river ascended 7 oxen, good to the sight, and choice in the flesh, and they were grazing in the reed grass. Another 7 oxen ascended after these from out of the river, shameful to the sight, and thin in the flesh, and feeding by the oxen by the edge of the river. The 7 shameful and thin in the flesh oxen ate up the 7 oxen good to the sight and choice. And Pharaoh arose. He dreamed the second time. Behold, 7 choice and good ears of corn ascended, and the one lowering branch. Behold, 7 ears of corn, thin and destroyed by the wind, grew up after them. The 7 thin and destroyed by wind ears of corn swallowed down the 7 choice and full ears of corn. And Pharaoh arose, and it was a dream. It came to pass in the morning, and his soul was disturbed. And standing, he called all the expositors of Egypt, and all her wise men. Pharaoh described to them his dream, and there was no one reporting it to Pharaoh. The chief wine taster spoke to Pharaoh, saying, My sin I called to mind today. Pharaoh was provoked to anger against his servant, and he put us under guard in the house of the chief guard, both me and the chief baker. We saw a dream both in one night, I and he, each according to his dream saw. There was there with us a young Hebrew servant of the chief guard. We described to him, and he interpreted to us. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so also it came to pass, both me being restored to my office, and that one being hanged. Pharaoh, having sent, called for Joseph. They led him from the fortress, and shaved him, changed his apparel, and he came to Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have seen a dream, and there is not one interpreting it. But I have heard concerning you, saying, In your hearing dreams, you interpret them. Joseph, answering to Pharaoh, said, Without God's deliverance shall not be answered to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, In my sleep I imagined standing by the edge of the river, And as if from out of the river ascended 7 oxen, good to the sight, choice in the flesh, and they fed at the reed grass. Behold, another 7 oxen ascended after them from the river, in a sorry state, and shameful to the sight, thin in the flesh. What thing such as I saw not a shameful thing in the entire land of Egypt? The 7 shameful and thin oxen ate up the 7 oxen, the first, the good, and the choice. They entered into their bellies, and it did not become apparent as they entered into their bellies. And their appearance was shameful, as also in the beginning. And after awakening, I went back to bed. I saw again in my sleep, even as if 7 ears of corn ascended in one lower branch, full and good. Another 7 ears of corn, thin and destroyed by the wind, grew up next to them. The 7 thin and destroyed by the wind ears of corn swallowed down 7 good and full ears of corn. I told it then to the expositors, and there was no one reporting it to me. Joseph said to Pharaoh, "The dream to Pharaoh is one, as much as God does. He showed to Pharaoh. The 7 good oxen are 7 years, and the 7 good ears of corn are 7 years. The dream of Pharaoh was one. The 7 thin oxen, the one descended after them, are 7 years, and the 7 thin and destroyed by the wind ears of corn are 7 years. There will be 7 years of famine. And the saying which I have said to Pharaoh, God will do as much to show to Pharaoh. Behold, for 7 years there comes great prosperity in all the land of Egypt. But 7 years of famine shall come after these. They shall forget the fullness being in all the land of Egypt, and the famine will consume the land. The prosperity shall not be realized in the land because of the famine being after these things, for it will be exceedingly strong. And concerning the repetition of the dream to Pharaoh twice, it is because the saying to God will be true, and God will hasten to do it. Now then, look about for a man intelligent and discerning, and place him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh make and place toparchs over the land. Let them take a fifth of all the produce of the land of Egypt of the 7 years of prosperity. Let them bring together all the food of these coming 7 good years. Let them bring together the grain under the hand of Pharaoh, foods to be guarded in the cities. And the foods being guarded shall be for the land in the 7 years of the famine, which will be in the land of Egypt, and the land shall not be obliterated in the famine. The saying was pleasing before Pharaoh, and before all his servants. Pharaoh said to his servants, Shall we find such a man who has spirit of God in him? And Pharaoh said to Joseph, Since God showed to you all these things, there is not a man more intelligent and more discerning than you. You will be over my house, and by your mouth all my people shall obey, except for the throne. I will excel you. Pharaoh said to Joseph, Behold, I place you today over all of the land of Egypt. Pharaoh, removing the ring from his hand, put it upon the hand of Joseph, and he put on him fine linen apparel, and he put a collar of gold about his neck. He transported him upon his second chariot, and a herald proclaimed in front of him, and he placed him over the entire land of Egypt. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I am Pharaoh, without you not any one shall lift his hand over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called the name of Joseph Zapnath-paneah, and he gave to him Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of Heliopolis, to him as a wife. Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went forth from the face of Pharaoh, and went through all of the land of Egypt. The land produced in the 7 years' prosperity of sheaves, and was brought together all the foods of the 7 years in which there was prosperity in the land of Egypt. And he put the foods in the cities, foods of the plains, of the cities, of the places round about it, and he put in it. Joseph gathered together grain as the sands of the sea, much exceedingly, until there was not able to count it, for there was no number. To Joseph were born 2 sons before the coming of the 7 years of famine, which Asenath bore to him, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of Heliopolis. Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God made me forget all of my miseries, and all of the things of my father. And the name of the second he called Ephraim, for God increased me in the land of my humiliation. Went by the 7 years of prosperity which came to pass in the land of Egypt, and the 7 years of famine began to come, as Joseph said. There became famine in all of the earth, but in all the land of Egypt there were bread loaves. All the land of Egypt hungered, and the people cried out to Pharaoh for bread loaves. Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, You go to Joseph, and whatever he says to do, you do. The famine was upon the face of all the earth, and Joseph opened all the granaries and sold to all the Egyptians, and all the regions came to Egypt to buy from Joseph, for the famine prevailed in all. And Jacob, seeing that there is grain for sale in Egypt, said to his sons, Why are you lazy? Behold, I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy for us a small amount of food, that we should live and not die. The brothers of Joseph went down, the 10, to buy grain from Egypt. But Benjamin, the brother of Joseph, was not sent with his brothers, for he said, lest at any time should come to pass to him an infirmity. The sons of Israel came to buy the ones coming, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. Joseph was the ruler of the land. He sold to all the people of the land, and the brothers of Joseph, coming, did obeisance to him upon their face, upon the ground. Joseph, seeing his brothers, recognized and alienated himself from them. He spoke to them hard. He said to them, From what place have you come? And they said, From out of the land of Canaan, to buy foods. Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Joseph remembered his dreams, of which he saw himself, and he said to them, You are spies, to study the tracks of the place in which you have come. And they said, Not so, O Lord, your servants came to buy food. We are all sons of one man. We are peaceable. Your servants are not spies. He said to them, No, but you came to see the tracks of the land. They said, We are your servants, 12 brothers in the land of Canaan. Behold, our younger brother is with our father today, and the other does not exist. Joseph said to them, This is it that I have said to you, saying that you are spies. In this you shall appear exposed by the help of Pharaoh. No way should you go forth from here, if your younger brother should not come here. You said to one from you, and take your brother, but you shall be taken away until your sayings become apparent. If you be truthful or not, but if not, by the help of Pharaoh, assuredly you are spies. He put them in prison 3 days. He said to them on the third day, You do this, and you shall live, for I fear God. If you are peaceable, let one of your brothers be held in the prison, but you yourselves proceed, and take back the purchase of your provision. You lead your younger brother to me, and I will trust your sayings, but if not, you shall die. And they did so, and said each to his brothers, Yes, for we are in sin on account of our brother. For we overlooked the affliction of his soul when he besought us, and we did not listen to him. And because of this, the affliction came upon us. Reuben answering said to them, Did I not speak to you, saying you should not wrong the lad, and you did not hearken to me? Behold, his blood is required. They did not know that Joseph heard, for the translator was between them. And turning from them, Joseph wept. And again he came forward to them, and spoke to them. He took Simeon from them, and he tied him before them. Joseph gave charge to fill up their containers of grain, and to give back their silver to each in this sackcloth, and to give them provisions for the journey. And it became to them so. Placing the grain upon their donkeys, they went forth from there, and one untying his bag to give fodder to his donkeys where they rested. And he saw his bundle of silver, for it was upon the mouth of the bag. He said to his brothers, The silver was given back to me. Behold, this is in my bag. And it startled their heart, and they were disturbed with one another, saying, What is this God did to us? They came to Jacob their father in the land of Canaan, and they reported to him all the things coming to pass to them, saying, The master of the land, spoke to us hard, and put us in prison, as spying out the land. We said to him, We are peaceable, we are not spies. 12 brothers we are, sons of our fathers. The one does not exist, and the younger is with our father today in the land of Canaan. The master of the land, said to us, By this I will know that you are peaceable. You leave one of your brothers here with me, and the purchase of the provision for your house having taken, you go forth. You lead to me your younger brother, and I shall know that you are not spies, but that you are peaceable, and I will give back to you your brother, and you can trade in the land. And it happened in their emptying their sackcloth, there was a bundle of silver in each of their sackcloth, and they saw the bundles of their silver to them, and their father, and they feared. Jacob said, Their father said to them, You are making me childless. Joseph is not, Simeon is not, and will you take Benjamin? Upon all these things happened. And Reuben said to his father, saying, The 2 sons of mine you may kill if I do not lead him to you. You give him into my hand, and I will lead him to you. He said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother died, and he alone is left behind. Suppose it shall come to pass that he be infirm, the way whichever you go, you will lead me in old age with distress into Hades. And the famine grew in strength upon the land. And it came to pass, when they completed eating up the grain which they brought from Egypt, that their father said to them, In again going, you buy us a small amount of food. Judah said to him, saying, The man bore witness by testifying to us, the master of the land, saying, You shall not see my face if your younger brother should not come with you. If then you send our brother with us, we will go down, and we will buy food for you. But if you do not send our brother with us, we will not go. For the man said to us, saying, You shall not see my face if your younger brother should not be with you. Israel said, "Why did you do evil to me, announcing to the man that there is to you a brother?" They said, "In asking the man asked of us and our family, saying, 'Does our father still live, and if there is to us a brother?' We reported to him according to this questioning. We did not know that he would say to us, 'You bring your brother.'" Judah said to Israel, their father, his father, "You send the lad with me, and rising up let us go, that we may live and not die, we and you and our belongings. I will look out for him. You seek him from out of my hand, and if I do not lead him to you and set him before you, I will be sinning against you all the days. For if we slowed not, already even we should have returned twice." Israel their father said to them, "If so it is, this you do. You take from the fruit of the earth in your containers, and bring to the man gifts of balm and of honey, and of incense and balsam, and turpentine and walnuts. And you take double silver in your hands, and the silver being returned in your bags, return it with you, perhaps it is by ignorance. You take your brother, and rising go down to the man. My God give to you favor before the man, even to send your brother, the other one, and Benjamin. For as much as I indeed have been made childless, I have been made childless." And the men receiving these gifts, and the double silver they took in their hands, and Benjamin, rising up, they went down into Egypt, and stood before Joseph. Now Joseph saw them, and Benjamin his brother, the one born of the same mother. And he said to the one over his house, "Bring the men into the house, and slay the things offered for sacrifices, and prepare, for the man will eat with me bread loaves at midday." The man did as Joseph said, and he brought the men into the house of Joseph. The men, seeing that they were brought into the house of Joseph, said, "On account of the silver returned in our bags, in the beginning we are brought in, to exhort us and to place charge upon us, to take us as servants and our donkeys." Coming forward to the man, the one over the house of Joseph, they spoke to him in the vestibule of the house, saying, "We beseech you, O master, we went down in the beginning to buy food, and it happened when we came to rest up, we opened our bags, that thus the silver was in each of his bag. Now we return now our silver with the weight in our hands, and we brought other silver with ourselves to buy food. We do not know who put the silver in our bags." But he said to them, "Kindness be to you. Do not fear, for your God and the God of your fathers gave to you treasures in your bags, and your silver in approving I receive." And he led them out Simeon. He brought water to wash their feet, and he gave fodder to their donkeys. They prepared the gifts until Joseph came at midday, for they heard that he was about to dine there. Joseph entered into the house, and they brought to him the gifts which they had in their hands into the house, and they did obeisance to him upon their face, upon the ground. He saw Benjamin his brother, the one born of the same mother, and he said, "This is your brother, the younger whom you spoke to me of bringing." And he said, "God show mercy to your child." And Joseph was disturbed, for his innards contracted over his brother, and he was seeking to weep. He entered into the storeroom to weep there. He washed his face, and coming forth he controlled himself. And he said, "You place the bread loaves." And they placed a setting to him alone, and to them by themselves, and to the Egyptians dining with them by themselves. For the Egyptians were not able to eat bread loaves with the Hebrews, for it is an abomination to the Egyptians. He seated before himself the firstborn according to their seniority, and the younger according to his youth. The men each were looking amazed at his brother, and they lifted away the portions from him to them, and the portion of Benjamin was magnified over the portions of all, fivefold over those, and they drank and became intoxicated with him. And Joseph gave charge to the one filling the house, saying, "Fill the bags of the men with foods, as much as they are able to lift away, and put in each the silver at the mouth of the bag, and my silver drinking cup put into the bag of the younger, and the value of his grain." It happened according to the word of Joseph, as he said. In the morning light shone through, and the men were sent, they and their donkeys. And they're going forth from the city, not at a far distance. Joseph said to the one over his house, and rising up, "Pursue after the men, you shall overtake them. And you shall say to them, 'For what reason did you recompense bad for good? Why did you steal my silver drinking cup? In this not in which my master drinks?' And he foretells an omen by it. You completed the wicked things which you have done." Having found them, he said to them, according to these words. They said to him, "Why speaks the master in these words? May it not be for your servants to do according to this word? Since the silver we found in our bags we returned to you from the land of Canaan. How then would we steal from out of the house of your master silver or gold? By whomever the drinking cup shall be found of your servants, let him die, and we also will be servants to your master." He said, "Now as you say, so it will be. By whomever the drinking cup shall be found will be my servant, and you all shall be pure." They hastened, each lowered his bag upon the ground, and each opened his bag. He searched beginning from the older until he came to the younger, and he found the drinking cup in the bag of Benjamin. They tore their cloaks, and each placed his bag upon his donkey, and returned to the city. Judah entered, and his brothers, to Joseph while he was there, and they fell before him upon the ground. Joseph said to them, "What is this that you did?" Did you not know that a man such as I shall foretell an omen? Judah said, How shall we contradict the master? Or what shall we speak? Or how shall we be justified? For God found the injustice of your servants. Behold, we are servants to our master, both we and by whom was found with the drinking cup. Joseph said, Let it not be to me to do this thing. The man by whom was found with the drinking cup, he will be my servant, but you all ascend with safety to your father. And approaching to him, Judah said, I beseech, O Lord, let your servant speak before you. Be not enraged with your servant, for you are after Pharaoh. O Lord, you asked your servants, saying, Have you a father or brother? And we said to the master, There is to us a father, an older man, and a younger child in his old age, and his brother died. He was alone left behind of his mother, and his father loved him. You said to your servants, Lead him to me, and I will care for him. We said to the master, The child is not able to leave his father. If he should leave his father, he will die. And you said to your servants, If your younger brother does not come down with you, you shall not proceed to see my face. It happened when we ascended to your servant our father. We reported to him the words of our master. And our father said, Proceed again, and buy for us a small amount of food. And we said, We will not be able to go down. But if then our younger brother goes down with us, we will go down. For not will we be able to see the face of the man if our younger brother is not being with us. And our father your servant said to us, You know that my wife bore to me too. And the one went forth from me, and you said that he was devoured by wild beasts, and I did not see him as far as now. If you then should take also this one from my face, and comes to pass to him an infirmity in the way, then know that you will lead me in old age with distress into Hades. Now then, if I should enter to your servant and our father, and the child should not be with us, then know his life depends on this one's life, and it will be in his seeing the child not being with us, he will come to an end. And your servants will lead to old age your servant and our father with distress into Hades. For your servant has looked out for the child for my father, saying, If I do not lead him to you, I will be sinning against my father all the days. Now then, I will remain to you as a servant instead of a child, as a domestic servant of my master. But let the child ascend with his brothers. For how shall I ascend to the father of the child not being with us, that I should not see the bad things which will find my father? And Joseph was not able to withhold of all the ones standing beside him, but he said, Send all from me. No one stood beside Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. And he let go with a voice of weeping. And all the Egyptians heard, and it became audible in the house of Pharaoh. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Does my father still live? And the brothers were not able to respond to him, for they were disturbed. Joseph said to his brothers, Approach to me. And they approached. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you delivered into Egypt. Now then, do not fret, nor let it appear hard to you that you delivered me here. For God sent me for life in front of you. For this second year of famine is upon the earth, and still remaining are 5 years in which there is no plowing nor harvest. For God sent me in front of you, that there may be left to you a vestige upon the earth, and to nourish to you a great remnant. Now then, you did not send me here, but God, and he made me as father to Pharaoh, and master of all his house, and ruler of all the land of Egypt. Hastening then, you ascend to my father and say to him, Thus says your son Joseph, God made me master of all the land of Egypt. Come down then to me, and you shall not wait. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you will be near me, you and your sons, and the sons of your sons, your sheep and your oxen, as much as is yours. And I will nourish you there, for there is still 5 years of famine, that you shall not be obliterated, you and your sons, and all your possessions. Behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that my mouth is speaking to you. Behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin. Report then to my father all my glory in Egypt, and as much as you saw, and hastening bring down my father here. Falling upon the neck of Benjamin his brother, he wept upon him, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Kissing all of his brothers, he wept on them, and after these things his brother spoke to him. The report was proclaimed forth into the house of Pharaoh, saying, The brothers of Joseph have come. And Pharaoh rejoiced, and his attendant. Pharaoh said to Joseph, Speak to your brothers, this you do. Fill your carriages, and go forth into the land of Canaan. Taking up your father and your possessions, come to me, and I will give to you all the good things of Egypt, and you shall eat the marrow of the land. You charge these to take for themselves wagons from out of the land of Egypt, for your children and your wives, and taking up your father, come, and you should not be sparing to the eyes of your items, for all the good things of Egypt will be unto you. And they did thus, the sons of Israel. And Joseph gave to them wagons, according to the sayings by Pharaoh the king, and he gave to them provisions for the journey. To all he gave double robes, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of gold, and 5 changes of robes. And to his father he sent according to the same, and 10 donkeys carrying of all the good things of Egypt,
and 10 mules carrying bread loaves to his father for the journey. Joseph sent out his brothers, and they went, and he said to them, "Do not be provoked to anger in the way." They ascended from out of Egypt, and they came into the land of Canaan to Jacob their father. And they announced to him, saying that your son Joseph lives. He rules all the land of Egypt. And Jacob proceeded in his thought, for he did not trust them. They spoke to him all the sayings of Joseph, as much as he said to them. And seeing the wagon which Joseph sent, so as to take him, the spirit of Jacob their father rekindled. And Israel said, "It is a great thing to me if Joseph my son still lives. And going, I will see him before dying."
Wise women build houses, but the foolish raises her house by her hands. The one going rightly fears the Lord, but the crooked one shall be dishonored in his ways. From out of the mouth of fools is the staff of insult, but the lips of the wise keep them. Where there are no oxen, the stables are clean, and where there is much produce, the strength of the ox is apparent. A trustworthy witness does not lie, but a lying witness kindles unjust acts. You shall seek wisdom with bad men, and you shall not find it, but good sense from the intelligent is easily managed. All things are adverse to a foolish man, but wise lips are shields for good sense. The wisdom of the astute will realize their ways, but the thoughtlessness of fools leads unto delusion. The houses of lawbreakers shall owe cleansing, but the houses of the just are acceptable. The heart of a man is sensitive of his soul's distress, but whenever he should be glad, he shall not intermix insult. The house of the impious shall be obliterated, but the tents of the ones kept straight shall stand. There is a way which seems to be straight by men, but the finalities of it comes into the lower branches of Hades. Distress does not mingle with gladness, and the finality of joy comes into mourning. The bold-hearted shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man with his thoughts. The guileless believe every word, but the astute one comes to repentance. A wise man fearing turns aside from evil, but the fool, yielding to himself, mixes in with the lawless one. A man quick to rage acts with thoughtlessness, but an intelligent man endures many things. Fools shall portion evil, but the astute shall hold to good sense. Evil men shall slip before good men, and the impious will attend the doors of the just. Friends shall detest poor friends, but friends of the rich are many. The ones dishonoring the needy sins, but the ones showing mercy on the poor is most blessed. The one wandering contrives evils, but mercy and truth are contrived by the good. The fabricators of evil do not have knowledge of mercy and trust, but charity and trust are by good fabricators. With every one having concern there is extra, but the pleasure bent and unfeeling will be with lack. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the pastime of fools is evil. A trustworthy witness shall rescue a soul from evils, but a deceitful man kindles lying. In the fear of the Lord hope is strength, and to his children he leaves a support. The order of the Lord is a spring of life. It causes one to turn aside from the snare of death. Glory of a king is in an abundant nation, but in a wanting people there is destruction of a mighty one. A lenient man is abundant in intelligence, but the faint-hearted is strongly foolish. A gentle-minded man is a healer of the heart, but a sensitive heart is a moth for the bones. The one exhorting the needy provokes the one making him, but the one esteeming him shows mercy on the poor. The impious shall be thrust away in his evil. The one complying in his own sacredness is just. Wisdom rests in the heart of a good man, but in the heart of fools it is not determined. Righteousness raises up high a nation, but sins lessen tribes. An intelligent officer is acceptable to a king. By his own versatility he removes dishonor. Joshua 1:8. The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. God has given us an incredible treasure in His Word. It is the only certain and unfailing source of truth, because although it was penned by human authors, they were directed by the Holy Spirit. Since God not only gave the Word, but preserved it, we can fully trust everything that it says. It was no accident that Satan's very first temptation was based on questioning whether what God said was really true. The Spirit is still active in our world today, as people challenge various things that the Bible says, attempting to undermine its authority and to allow their doctrine to be more acceptable to unbelievers. In addition to having a high view of the Scriptures, we must treat the Bible not just as information, but as directions and guidance for living. The evangelist Gipsy Smith was approached by a man at the end of a service who said that he had not found any inspiration in the Bible, even though he had gone through it several times. "Let it go through you once," replied Smith. "Then you will tell a different story. God's word is given to us to direct our path through life. And while the Bible is completely true and trustworthy, it only has its intended impact on Christians' lives when we do what it says. Whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed." The Bible was not given merely to inform us, but to direct us.